Several years ago, I worked on a passenger ferry outside of the Hilton Head area, and one of the frequent passengers we had was a little bit of a local celebrity who, in the early days of the developing tourism industry in Hilton Head, he was a very proficient guitar player. He would set up his guitar underneath a tree in Harbor Town and just start playing like folk songs and songs that told stories, mostly for family entertainment and, you know, kids, Puff the Magic Dragon and all that and whatnot. Sometimes he would improvise things, but he was also really into writing songs that were just fun things that he wrote about different features of the area. The passenger ferry I worked on ran over Calabogie Sound, which is one of the bodies of water around Hilton Head. And it's an unusual name, Calabogie. It's been called Calabogie for God only knows how long, and he's not telling. And nobody else really knows where it came from. But he was playing a song in the passenger cabin, just kind of diddling around, and he's like, should I name this song? I said, how about the Calabogie Boogeyman? So he started turning it into a little bit more of a boogie type song, and that was neat to have named a song for this local celebrity. This one day he came up on board with another passenger, fellow who was a little bit older than he was, with spiky hair, and he was listening to him play his songs and stuff like that, and all of a sudden he knew that I played a little guitar, because once in a while we were the only people around, and I'd pick up my guitar and play shitty guitar for him. And it so happened this was not a quiet, mellow day, and a lot of the folks who I worked for, who were grumpy millionaires who had retired and, you know, want everything to be shipshape and spit polished and wonderful. But the idea of a boatmate sitting down in the passenger cabin, at least I was engaging another passenger when they said, "Here, play me something," and he handed me his guitar. So legit excuse to sit down for a minute. And I said, you know, I was playing this one little thing that I remember from church youth group, where it was this kind of, and we just, I'm not going to sing a church song for you, but, and I just remember liking the way that it felt, it's like my fingers were going in a circle, and the guy with the spiky ears like, yeah, I can see that. That's cool. Yeah. What else you got? And I said, well, you know, I was also looking through the old songbook, and we had this one little chord progression that had seemed to have a whole lot of uses to it. And like, it was like a A, E, A, D. So what we did was, I am neither confident nor practiced enough to actually go into What I Like About You by Any Money, but what I like about you. Anyway, somewhere it's in there. I promise it's in there. The guy with the spiky hair is like, you know what? I met Eddie Money. He is so nice. But guess what? You might not understand, you know, without having heard this, but he is almost completely deaf. And now that I've told you that, listen to this song again, and you'll hear that little bit of pronunciation trouble that some people who are almost completely deaf have. And I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of interesting. So eventually I did. But I'm also like, but this, let me see. We also kind of made it into ROCK in the USA, and I start come from the cities and they come from the smaller towns. And anyway, he picks it up. He starts running with it. And when he gets to the ROCK in the USA part, he really starts croaking on USA. And I'm playing for a little bit more, and all of a sudden I realize it's gotten really quiet in the cabin. And I turn around and hear all the nice millionaires that I work for, you know, looking over at the mate who should be polishing the ballast tanks or something like that with his life's blood or something like that. So I'm like, I gotta go. So I handed the guitar back and off I went. Visited the captain. The captain is upstairs like, oh, so I understand we're paying you to play guitar too. So for playing the guitar too. And I'm like, how about chitter chat? Told him the story, and then I went downstairs kind of quickly through the passenger cabin because I had been very definitely slacking off playing guitar, and was by myself on the cargo deck. And the fellow with the spiky hair came out, and he says, you were doing okay. You seemed a little bit embarrassed. My name's John. John Cougar Mellencamp wrote ROC Can USA and lived on Defusky Island. So I was playing shitty guitar for John Cougar Mellencamp. Playing his song, making him sing it to my shitty guitar. So I'm like, but he lived in the Hilton Head area for many years. He was famous for having a great big back porch where he would always encourage people to come anytime and start playing music. And he would always encourage people to write their own songs and to keep trying and not be embarrassed at their growing pains. So 3 cheers for John Cougar Mellencamp, and one more story for Patrick Meets Famous People Badly.